Namandab, 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 namandab.
Good morning, we are your co-MCs for today. I am Jack Krasinowski.
I am Eldon Gomes.
We will now have a welcome address by Cub Master Glenn.
Welcome everybody to our Cub Scout Pac-12 sponsored by Kono Ganji Veterans Appreciation Day. Anyway, I'd like to have everybody, I'd like to acknowledge our guest speaker, Colonel Tim Alvarado from PT. He's the PTA commander, and thank you for coming. And we also have the Ililani, who's the Governor Green's liaison. Okay, so and guests of we have a few veterans in store today, but I also want to mention that most of the veterans are not here today because they're attending a funeral for a Paul Morrison. Tony, is that correct? Yeah, and otherwise there'll be like 20 more veterans here today. But anyway, I'd like to begin the program with the, we have a Medal of Honor recipient. So can you please stand at attention, please? And this will be for Rodney Yano. And walking in with this Medal of Honor is his brother, Glenn Yano. Please remain standing. Our next Medal of Honor recipient is none other, and also these are also part of the community and church members. They belong to this church, the Yano. The next member for the Medal of Honor is Ellison Onizuka. You may all be seated. As part of the welcoming this time, we decided to go ahead and I did contact the family members for Mr. Onizuka, and Claude, who is the speaker for the family, says that he's on a plane getting back to Kona today, so he's not able to come. But he did tell us that we could use the picture and, basically for a small town like Kona with a coffee background community, we have two Medal of Honor winners here in Kona, so that's really, really special. And then some of our boys who just had trunk or treat on when was that, Monday or Tuesday we had it here. Some of them were wearing astronaut uniform, and then so one of the boys today, I told him, "Don't you want to be like Allison Onizuka?" And he said, "Yeah." That's how young and impressionable these boys are. So anyway, it's really hard to talk after the presentation like this. So let's begin with the ceremony. Thank you.
We will now have the offering of flowers by Kaysen and Rylan. Lights by Jacob and Kalau. Please rise for the presentation of color. Color guards post colors. Please remain standing for the flag pledge. Scout salute. Pledge to the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Scout sign, scout oath. Do my best, to do my duty, to God and my country, to obey the scout law, to help other people at all times, keep myself physically strong, mentally alert, and morally straight. Let us all sing God Bless America, found in your program.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with fun. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Scouts retreat. Let us please remain standing for the bandana and T Serrana found on your card in the back of the pews. Let us sing both the Pali and English parts together with Reverend Blaine.
Bhagavato Butsunamanda, 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 Butsunamanda.
Please remain standing for the aspiration by Reverend Blaine.
Please join me in Gasho. We gather this morning as friends in the Dharma, as fellow travelers along the journey of life. We come together in fellowship to honor all those who have served our country in times of war and in times of peace. We reflect on the values of service, sacrifice, and the willingness to bear suffering for the sake of others. We extend our deepest appreciation to these veterans for giving of themselves in order to preserve our democracy, which is based on the principles of equality, freedom, responsible civic engagement, and an abiding concern for the welfare of others. May we realize that the idea of America is a continual work in progress in which each generation and each citizen is tasked with envisioning and building a more perfect union. May we strive to embody the vows of the Bodhisattva, those enlightened beings who forgo their own awakening for the sake of others. The many beings are numberless, I vow to save them. Greed, hatred, and ignorance rise endlessly, I vow to abandon them. Dharma gates are countless, I vow to wake to them. Buddha's way is unsurpassed, I vow to embody it fully. We offer our thoughts of loving kindness and healing to all who are suffering in the horrors of war, political violence, and mass shootings. May we work together to alleviate suffering in all forms by transforming the poisons of greed, hatred, and ignorance into generosity, love, and wisdom. May we always take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows us the way in this life, the Dharma, the way of understanding and love, and the Sangha, the community that lives in harmony and awareness. In trusting in the Buddha of all-inclusive wisdom and all-embracing compassion, we call the Buddha's honored name in gratitude, joy, and awareness. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu.
Please be seated.
We will now have a video titled Freedom Isn't Free.
If we look to the answer as to why for so many years we achieved so much, prospered as no other people on earth, it was because here in this land, we unleashed the energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. Freedom and the dignity of the individual have been more available and assured here than in any other place on earth. The price for this freedom at times has been high, but we have never been unwilling to pay that price. Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look. The sloping hills of Arlington National Cemetery, with its row upon row of simple white markers bearing crosses or stars of David, they add up to only a tiny fraction of the price that has been paid for our freedom. Each one of those markers is a monument to the kind of hero I spoke of earlier. Their lives ended in places called Belleau Wood, the Argonne, Omaha Beach, Salerno, and halfway around the world on Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Pork Chop Hill, the Chosin Reservoir, and in 100 rice paddies and jungles of a place called Vietnam. Under one such marker lies a young man, Martin Treptow, who left his job in a small-town barber shop in 1917 to go to France with the famed Rainbow Division. There on the Western Front, he was killed trying to carry a message between battalions under heavy artillery fire. We're told that on his body was found a diary. On the flyleaf, under the heading My Pledge, he had written these words: America must win this war. Therefore, I will work, I will save, I will sacrifice, I will endure. I will fight cheerfully and do my utmost as if the issue of the whole struggle depended on me alone. We must realize that no arsenal or no weapon in the arsenals of the world is so formidable as the will and moral courage of free men and women. It is a weapon our adversaries in today's world do not have. It is a weapon that we as Americans do have. Let that be understood by those who practice terrorism and prey upon their neighbors. As for the enemies of freedom, those who are potential adversaries, they will be reminded that peace is the highest aspiration of the American people. We will negotiate for it, sacrifice for it. We will not surrender for it now or ever. We are Americans.
We will now begin the offering of incense by Cub Scout Pack 12 and other parents.
There are 2 incense burners, so please use both.
Troop 59 and other scouts. Disabled American Veterans, Tony Bigoli. American Legion Post 20, Nestro Domingo. American Legion Auxiliary, Caroline Ritchie. All veterans in attendance today. Family members of fallen veterans. Kyoto President Linda Nagai. Let us observe a moment of silent meditation.
Namannab, 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 namannab.
We will now have the chanting of Sutra Gasho to Amida found on the laminated card.
Composed by the Reverend Suji, Gasho to Amida is a hymn that praises the Buddha of infinite life and celebrates the activity of great compassion which sustains our lives. This hymn reminds us we should humbly approach life with palms pressed together in reverence, gratitude, and joy. We chant these words so that we may hear the Dharma and awaken to the virtues of the Buddha. May our voices together express our profound gratitude and appreciation for the Buddha's great benevolence. Namo Amida Butsu. I recite Amida's name with deep joy and gratitude. Trees and grasses and flowers all grow in great compassion. This light shines throughout the world. I gasho to Amida. Flowers bloom and flowers fall. From the seed sprout new flowers. This is the truth unchanging. I gasho to Amida. Springtime brings the happy birds. Their songs all praise I join them in Nembutsu. I gasho to Amida. When I call Amida's name, it's Amida calling me. Buddha's voice, my voice are one. I gasho to Amida. When I'm lonely, I recite Namo Amida Butsu. Then I feel great compassion. I gasho to Amida. Nembu. I gasho to Amida. Remember the golden chain, kindness to all living things. I will follow this teaching. I gasho to Amida. In the clear bright morning sun, great compassion, this great power guides my life. I gasho to Naman namin. Naman namin. Naman namin. Naman namin. Naman namin. Naman namin. A virtue of awaken minds. We are born in the land of peace. Namannabu, 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 namannab, namannabs, namannabs.
Please stand and let us recite the golden chain of love found in your program. I am a link. Please be seated.
A message from Governor Josh Green will be read by Governor Liaison Ilani Fori.
Aloha. It is my honor to be here on behalf of Governor Green. Mahalo to the Cub Scouts, the Cub Scout Masters, parents of Pack number 12, and the Aloha Council for putting together the Veterans Appreciation Program. I am a proud granddaughter, daughter of a veteran, and also a spouse of a Purple Heart and Bronze recipient wounded warrior, and also of an active duty soldier. So this goes out to all the veterans and their families. This is my heartful, sincere gratitude for all the sacrifices that you folks have given to this nation and to the ones that have given up the ultimate sacrifice. Mahalo. Now, here's my message that Governor Green wrote for this program. On behalf of the people of Hawaii, it is an honor to recognize veterans, military, and military families. You are our heroes who protect us and ensure our safety in time of war and need. You selfishly rush toward danger, driven by an unwavering commitment to save lives and protect our nation and our way of life. In the face of unprecedented adversity, you all show incredible courage, demonstrating that even in the most unimaginable circumstances, the human spirit can rise above and prevail. Military and veterans answer the call of duty without hesitation. You leave your families to travel to far-flung countries to fight and keep our country safe. You give solace to those who lost so much. You display extraordinary acts of bravery, compassion, and unity, proving that heroism knows no bounds. Today, we remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice, those who left us too soon, and those who bear their scars both seen and unseen. Their legacy lives on in the countless lives that they touch in the communities they protect. Let us also acknowledge the families of our military and the veterans who stood strong, providing unwavering support and enduring the anxieties that come with the knowledge that their loved ones were on the front lines facing dangers head on. On behalf of the state of Hawaii, I extend my warmest aloha to all veterans, military, and military families as they gather to celebrate. May the memory of those brave men and women inspire us to ever be so vigilant, to be resilient in the face of adversity and to be compassionate in our interactions with one another. Josh Green, MD, Governor, State of Hawaii. Mahalo again.
A message from Senator Mazie Hirono will be read by Darcy Asakura.
Message from U.S. Senator Mazie K. Hirono. In honor of Kona Hongwanji's Buddhist Temple's Veterans Day Church service dated November 5th, aloha and welcome to everyone attending Kona Hongwanji's Buddhist Temple's Veterans Day Church service. On Veterans Day, we celebrate our military veterans and service members who have dedicated their lives to our country. Though their courageous service and commitment to our nation, they have demonstrated incredible bravery and resolve. By answering the call to serve, each and every one of you has had an impact on our country, and today we honor your efforts and sacrifices. I appreciate every opportunity to meet and work with veterans who share the challenges they and their families experience. I remain committed to supporting our veterans and service members in Hawaii and across the country by working with my colleagues on the committees on Veterans Affairs and Armed Services to ensure that we keep our promises to our veterans and make sure they have access to quality, affordable health care, housing, and education. Mahalo to the Konahongwanji Buddhist Temple for honoring our veterans, and to the Cub Scout Pac 12 who sponsored today's service. To all of the service members, Gold Star families, and veterans commemorating this event, I salute you for your service and your sacrifice. I join your family, friends, and fellow Americans in thanking and honoring you for all you have done to protect the United States of America. Aloha, signed Maisie K. Hirono, U.S. Senator.
A message from Senator Brian Schatz will be read by Michael Gomes.
A message from U.S. Senator Brian Schatz presented in recognition of Kona Hongwanji Cub Scouts Pac-12 Veterans Appreciation Service. Aloha and welcome everyone gathered for the Kona Hongwanji Buddhist Temple Cub Scouts Pac-12 Veterans Appreciation Service. This event honors our veterans and recognizes their dedication to our country. Our veterans have been instrumental in defending our nation and values, and we are forever grateful to them and their families for their service. We also thank and recognize the veterans of foreign wars, disabled American veterans, and the American Legion. For over 100 years, these organizations have helped support our service members and ensure veterans in our community receive the respect that they deserve. I join the Kona Hongwanji Buddhist Temple Cub Scouts in saying mahalo to our veterans and their families for their many sacrifices. Best wishes for a memorable event. Mahalo, signed Brian Schatz, United States Senator.
A message from Congressman Ed Case will be read by Mark Krasinowski.
Message from Congressman Ed Case. Aloha. It is my deep honor to extend my greetings to our honored veterans and all those attending this year's ceremony, to especially recognize those who proudly served our nation in uniform. I also want to extend my sincere appreciation and mahalo to the members and ohana of Cub Scout Pac-12 with the Kona Hongwanji for honoring our veterans. As a proud representative of a district and state with one of the highest rates of service and of veterans in our country, I take my responsibility to serve our veterans and your community very seriously. And as a member of the U.S. House Appropriations Subcommittees on Defense and Homeland Security, I continue to work tirelessly to safeguard our nation from all threats, foreign and domestic. To our honored veterans, your service is fulfilling your duty, and so much more again deserves our nation's respect and a collective salute from a grateful people. With aloha, Congressman Ed Case, Hawaii's 1st District.
I'd like to call upon Mr. Stephen Gallardo for a brief introduction of our guest speaker, Lieutenant Colonel Alvarado.
Hey, good morning, everyone. First of all, to my fellow veterans, great to see you here. And I want to thank the community for coming out and honoring us. It is a privilege. And I know we all are privileged and honored to have served. So good morning and thank you all for coming. And now I'm going to talk about our guest speaker. He is the commanding officer for the training center. Everybody knows the training center up on the mountain. So his name is Lieutenant Colonel Tim Alvarado. Lieutenant Colonel Tim Alvarado was born and raised in Charleston, South Carolina. He graduated from Clemson University and was commissioned from the ROTC program in the Corps of Engineers in 2004. Following Officer Basic Course, Alvarado joined the 65th Engineering Battalion, 3rd Brigade, 25th Infantry Light Division in 2005, which is in Schofield Barracks, Hawaii, where he served as the Assistant Battalion S3, SAPR Platoon Leader, and later Company Executive Officer. While stationed in Hawaii, Alvarado was also assigned to the Pacific Ocean Division, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, as aide-de-camp and to the Commanding General. Alvarado later attended the Special Forces Assessment and Selection and the Special Forces Qualification course at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and upon graduation in 2011, was reassigned to the 2nd Battalion, 1st Special Forces Group, Airborne. Alvarado served in several positions at the 1st Special Forces Group to include Detachment Commander, Battalion Assistant Operations Officer, Deputy PACOM Augmentation Team, Leader U.S. Embassy in Manila, and Group Plans Officer. Later, he served as a commander of 1st Special Forces Group A, Technical and Information Support Company, and as Battalion Operations Officer. After leaving 1st Special Forces Group in 2019, he assumed the role as Chief of Future Operations under NSOCC at Afghanistan. So Special Forces, yes, Special Operations in Afghanistan. His most recent assignment was at the U.S. Army Special Operations Command Headquarters in Fort Bragg, where he served as the Vice Chief of Staff and Operations Officer for the United States Army Special Operations Command, Human Performance and Wellness Directorate. Alvarado's military education includes the Officer Basic/Advanced course, Command and General Staff College, Special Forces Qualification course, Explosive Ordnance Clearing Agent course, the Series C Basic Airborne course, Combat Diver Qualification course, Ranger course, and Sapper Leader course. His civilian education includes a Bachelor of Science in Construction Science Management and a Master's in International Studies from Kansas University. Alvarado's awards and decorations include the Combat Infantry Badge, Parachutist Badge, Special Operations Dive Badge, Special Forces Tab, Ranger Tab, Sapper Tab, Australian and Thai Jump Wings, Bronze Star Meritorious Service Medal, Defense Meritorious Service Medal, Army Commendation, Joint Service Achievement Medal, and Army Achievement Medal. Lieutenant Colonel Alvarado is married and has 2 daughters. Quite an impressive resume from our guest speaker. So without further ado, Lieutenant Colonel Alvarado.
I'll get it there in a second. All right, aloha, good morning, everyone. I'm super good morning. I'm super honored to be here as your guest speaker. Mahalo to your Scoutmaster, Mr. Glenn Hirowatari, for inviting us, Ms. Lynn Nagai here at the Hongwangji Temple for hosting this event. Thanks for all the team being here today, all of our veterans, all of our families of the veterans, our Medal of Honor recipient families. Thank you for attending. CSM Cho, my right-hand lady here, and I are extremely blessed to be here today to honor all of our veterans. Veterans of the past, the present, and the future. As far as our future veterans, for the crowd here today, many of you all will be excellent candidates for the military service in a few years. Don't worry, we'll get you guys out in Illinois in a little bit. We'll get you guys sign some contracts and we'll be on your way. So, but just kidding, but seriously, in a couple of years. Because I was invited here today on behalf of the Cub Scouts by Mr. Glenn, I thought I'd compare them to our veterans today when it comes to service, as the future of service is just as important as the past. And our youth are our future of how our nation will be imagined and portrayed through the actions and values they take on a daily basis. When we think of Veterans Day, It's known as a celebration to honor America's veterans for their patriotism, love of country, and the selfless act to serve and sacrifice for the common good. We recognize those veterans who served and played an integral role across our many wars, both our world wars, Korean War, Vietnam, Gulf War, Panama, Haiti, Kosovo, Somalia, Libya, global war on terrorism, and so many more. All of our veterans are to be honored for their service as they paid to their country in order to support the liberties that it provides. Without that service and those liberties, we would not be the nation that we are, the land of the free and home of the brave. And our service extends to those nations and countries we help and support on those foreign lands. Their liberty and freedom is just as important as ours. The word service is the main reason and focus of what makes us an effective and formidable force to our adversaries, much like President Reagan had mentioned in the video previously. We are now an all volunteer force, although many of our veterans here and in the past didn't have that choice. And as a result, we're drafted into service, which is valuable service in its own way, probably even more so valuable. The act of service is an act of sacrifice and selflessness in itself. That sacrifice is made knowing you'll serve something larger than just yourself. You'll serve your country, your loved ones, and everyone alongside you. That service demonstrates duty, loyalty, trust, and commitment. All values we endure and hold true in our hearts as veterans. We all serve, and we all must continue to serve. Our country, our nation, needs that level of commitment, more so now than ever. And above all else, we as citizens and veterans must continue to strive to commit to our service, no matter how small the deed. Whether it's picking up trash on the street, driving a UPS truck to deliver packages, or serving in the military, we all contribute to the whole and the collective. We need our people to serve, our people to care, and our people to protect our Constitution and our freedom to live in this great nation. You all have a fantastic oath, and it illustrates much of those values and meanings of service I just talked about in the Cub Scouts and the Boy Scouts. Just in the oath itself, to do my duty to God, my country, and to help others at all times. This is the type of commitment our nation needs. Your commitment to the service you mentioned in your oath. I ask you that you continue to stand by that service commitment and encourage others to do the same. The past is history, and we'll rely on our younger generations to carry forward the legacy and commitment that our veterans endured throughout all of the wars I mentioned previously. Let us not forget the service those veterans gave. Let's honor that service with continued effort and caring. And again, this is a day to recognize all those people, all of you here who have served in the armed forces and the families that have served alongside those service members. Thank you for your service you all gave and that you all committed to. Thank you, and the nation thanks you. Aloha, mahalo.
Thank you, Lieutenant Alvarado, for an inspiring speech.
Please rise for the offertory presentation. Thank you, everyone, for your kind generosity. Please remain standing for the Gatha Mambutsu.
Namandab, 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 namandab.
Please be seated. Cub Master Glenn will now have some announcements.
I want to thank everybody for coming to our Veterans Day appreciation services. Have a couple announcements as far as Veterans Day. Our Pac 12 will be out there on Friday, putting the gray flags up there, and we'll be there at 8:30 in the morning, and at putting the gray flags on again. And after that, we have a presentation of colors practice with our PAC flag and American flag, and everybody going to be there. ROTC, and so they have a practice at 10:30 in the morning, and that should be about half an hour or so. On Saturday, 8:30 in the morning again. This is the 10th. This is Friday I'm talking about. But anyway, Saturday, we'll be out there at 8:30 setting up, and for a 11 o'clock start program for DAV. And I think the Sergeant Major is the guest speaker at the Veteran Cemetery. So there is a little connection there. We know what's going on. So on Saturday also, our Pac-12 has been asked to provide or to supply the concession, the food concession. So all the drinks, the water, and we'll be giving out free hot dogs to all the veterans and the families, or whoever comes anyway. And we've been asked to do that since Memorial Day. Vietnam Memorial, also, we had a day out there. We've been asked, this is the third time, so we feel very proud to be asked to do that. And on Monday, after school, after work, we'll be going out to the Veteran Cemetery to remove the gray flags. And let me see. As far as that's all for this weekend. And our president of the church, Linda, has reminded me to remind our PAC that there is church cleanup. When, Linda? When was it? 19th? Yeah, November 19th, they have a church cleanup, so if you can come out and help. Usually Pac-12 goes help the preschool, sanitize or whatever they have to do, the toys and stuff like that. Whoever can make it, please come. I'll be here. All right. And any other announcements?
Are there any other announcements?
Thank you, Cub Scouts, for sponsoring the service, and to our organist, Corinne Chong, and our Zoom crew back there, Lynn, Darren, and Alan. Next Sunday, November 12th, Eitaikyo or Sangha Memorial Service will be held at 10 o'clock a.m. In-person guest speaker will be Reverend Tomo Hojo from West Kauai, Honganji. In case you didn't hear the date just now, the annual Konohonganji General Cleanup Day will be held on Sunday, November 19, starting at 8 o'clock a.m. There will be no service, but your kokua will be greatly appreciated. Please come to help, even if it's for just a little while, so our temple and grounds can get a good once-a-year cleaning.
Lunch and refreshments will be provided, so please call the office for a head count. There will be no service on November 26th, so everyone can enjoy a happy Thanksgiving weekend with your families. And we'll start the month of December with a regular Dharma family service on December 3rd. Reminders, be sure to open, read, and click on the interesting as well as useful links on a host of topics that were included with Reverend Blaine's weekly update, which he emailed this past Friday. The temple still has free COVID test kits available. The FDA has further extended the expiration date to April 21, 2024, so they are still good, and you are welcome to pick up any amount for your use. Thank you.
I get one more announcement. After we're done here, if we could get the guest speaker, Lieutenant Colonel Alvarado, and all the veterans and the Cub Scouts to be on the stairs here, so we're going to have a group picture. All right, thank you.
This concludes today's Veteran Service Appreciation Day service. Thank you.
He saw all the dessert and refreshments back there, so he's anxious. I don't blame him. I was in there with it. On behalf of Konohonganji, I would like to thank everyone in attendance this morning to honor our veterans. My husband was a veteran, my brother too, so it's in the family. And, you know, in Japanese, we say okage-sama de. Because of them, we are here. We are enjoying what we have today. It's our veterans. It's everyone who's served or serving right now. And for the families that are here, without you, they couldn't serve. Because I know I had to be there with my husband doing many, many things, that taking care of family and all that, but still supporting him. So families, thank you so much for supporting your veterans in the past. And if you have any children now that are serving, please support them, because as President Reagan said, we are Americans and our freedom is because of them. Thank you.
So just, I want to just echo Linda's remarks and thank everybody for being here. Thank you very much to the veterans. Thank you for your service to our country and to our community. Also, a big mahalo to Glenn and Lynn and the Scout parents, and most of all to the Scouts for doing an amazing job today. Thank you.
This concludes today's Veteran Service Appreciation Day. Thank you for coming and joining us this morning. Please join us for refreshments in the conference room.